Hey guys, my name's Nate and I'm the Otter Outdoorsman, and in this video I'm going to be doing a flint and steel fire. It has honestly been a while since I had done a flint and steel fire. Not going to say how long, but it had been a while. I was at a meetup with the New England Bushcraft organization. Meetup they do monthly. This is the same organization that's putting on the New England Bushcraft show that's coming up on April 28th. But we've been doing these monthly meetups, and it's been a great opportunity to practice skills. Well, I've been itching to do a flint and steel fire for a while, and quite honestly, since I hadn't done one in a while and we needed to get a fire going, I basically said, I want to do this one with flint and steel. So I gathered up the materials, brought my favorite flint and steel kit, and just got right into it after prepping all the materials. It took me a little while to get the first spark. Not too long. A few strikes, more than it used to take me. But once I got that, I put it into my tinder bundle. Now, my tinder bundle wasn't the most ideal one that I'd like to work with. This tinder bundle was just jute twine that I'd broken down, probably maybe about a foot's worth of jute twine that I'd broken apart, and some grass that I'd found around. It was, I'm not sure exactly what plant it was, but it was like this grassy plant that had some flowers on it. I didn't film me gathering it because I was gathering it as I was going around gathering wood for the fire. Now, the char cloth I was using was old. This char cloth was one I had cooked up probably about a year or two ago, so it was not smoldering that quickly. Also didn't help that it was moist, so it wasn't taking my breath that easily. It also doesn't help that, well, jute twine takes a while to catch if you're using your breath. So I kept huffing and puffing and trying to just get it going, but it wasn't taking. I'd keep trying to take a look at it, see, I'm like, okay, is this char cloth still lit? Did I make a mistake? Is this catching on to the jute twine? I wasn't sure. I knew if this char cloth caught onto the jute twine, it would go. And with the grasses and how I had my stick lay done, it would catch beautifully, but the trick was getting that initial flame. And so I kept trying to feed oxygen to that char cloth, and I wasn't confident that this is partially where I was starting to doubt my char cloth. But every time I'd peek in, I would see, well, it's still smoldering, so something good's there. So I would try every little method I saw, and I kept getting little wisps of smoke here and there, so I would try every little technique. I'd raise it up a little bit above myself to see if that would help, to see if I could get the heat to rise up through the tinder bundle, but that was still not showing a little bit of practice. But then I started waving it back and forth. That was a technique that I learned from Any Wilderness on Instagram and on YouTube, but he's primarily active on Instagram, and that was the trick that did it. I've camped with him a few times, and that's a trick he uses with jute twine, and man, did that trick work. And combining that with how I use grass with a tinder bundle, that allowed me to basically handle the fire without having my hand right in the fire, and that allowed me to just shove the fire right into my stick bundle. Now, the stick bundle that I used was primarily sweet birch, hemlock, and a few other different miscellaneous plants, maybe a little bit of maple or oak, but it was primarily hemlock and a little bit of sweet birch. And that was a killer combination. In New England, especially in the Northeast, I don't need to baton plants or baton logs. There is an abundance of small sticks, especially if hemlocks and white pine are in my area. They offer these very, very tiny sticks that I can put in to my stick bundle to create a really fast flame. And it's why I tend to only carry a 3-inch blade. None of this preparation that I used, minus cutting the rope, I didn't even use a knife for. It was something that I broke the sticks with my hand. I piled them up. It was primarily just hands and a little bit of intuition. I made a little bit of a cocoon for where I'd stick the flame, and that was about it. And then once the flame was in there, once the flame was nice and high, I kind of just spread out the sticks to get some oxygen and then piled on some more pine. And that's how I got a really hot coal base. Some of the sticks were wet though. We had a lot of snowstorms that went through, and that did cause a lot of the wood to be wet. So later down the line we were having a little bit of trouble keeping the flames pretty hot, but nevertheless it wasn't too bad. It also helped that on the bottom of this wood pile I had a punky log base on the bottom of it, which I liked because it collected all the wood and helped smolder the flames. Creating a fire from flint and steel was one of my favorite styles for the longest time, and it was really rewarding to be able to get back into that style. It really is one of my favorite methods, and still to this day, I don't know why, it's so relaxing to be able to create flame that way. And I've missed it for the longest time when I fell out of practice of doing it, and I'm planning on doing it again. If you're in the Northeast, I really do encourage you to go to these gatherings. Especially check them out. Check out the New England Bushcraft organization on Facebook. They'll be posting them there. I'm probably going to be going to a decent amount of these whenever I can, because we get opportunities to do things like this. Remember, get outside and have some fun.